So, what did I think of the debate and who do I think won? Well, surprise, surprise, the media think Kevin Rudd have won. Because, of course, they're desperate for 50-50. They're desperate to pretend that tonight is some game changer and Kevin Rudd's back in the race. He ain't back in the race. He is losing the election and he will lose the election. He'll save his seat, but he will lose the election in just 9 and a bit days' time. That said, it wasn't a flawless night for Tony Abbott, and I'll get to a problem with Tony Abbott and with Kevin Rudd shortly. But one big thing came out of tonight, and well done to David Spears for pulling Kevin Rudd up on this. 2 major campaign lies have died tonight. Now, despite that, PolitiFact have tried to kill these things off. Despite the fact that plenty of independent fact-checking people and common sense has tried to kill off 2 major Kevin Rudd and Labor lies, it took tonight and literally Kevin Rudd being confronted with the facts directly and to his face for the claims to be blown up. The $70 billion figure was never true. And most certainly today, it is not true after $30-something billion worth of costings were actually brought out. The $70 billion number and the $70 billion worth of cuts, Kevin Rudd business, is bull. It is not true. And if you want to read a more reasoned assessment than mine, go to the PolitiFact website and actually see how that claim has been ruled false. Another Kevin Rudd and Labor lie is that Tony Abbott's going to cut Medicare services. Well, you heard him directly say, we're not going to do that. Kevin Rudd was lost for words and pretended that we couldn't quite trust the bloke who was standing there, making a very clear yes-no case that Medicare will not be changed. That's it. Wasn't a great night for Tony Abbott when it comes to paid parental leave. This is largely because, not because the policy is a bad idea, but they have done a pretty shocking job of actually explaining this scheme. For the person to stand there and ask the question about pretty little lawyers, and let's put that weirdness to one side, but suggesting that the only people who benefit from this scheme are people who earn over $100,000 or close to 200, or as it was claimed by Kevin Rudd today, billionaires, it's clearly a little bit rich. Obviously, the Liberal scheme is 6 months full pay for, compared to 3 months at minimum wage. Pretty obvious. However, Kevin Rudd has done a good job and Labor have done a good job of trying to make it seem like it only benefits the rich and does over the poor, when of course it does not. And by the way, Tony Abbott's done a pretty shocking job of being able to say, hey, that woman on $150,000, that bloke, that woman on $180,000, they pay a bloody big share of tax, including, as I've shown you earlier in the week, a woman on $150,000 pays the full year's pension of 2 elderly people. And they're more than willing to do it. That's the system we've signed up to. But perhaps the low point for both leaders, and it is a huge missed opportunity of this campaign. While we spend billions of dollars to try to help people have babies, there are millions of people around this country who've got problems with their teeth. Now, both will pretend that they care about it, but neither have a fair income Medicare-style system for our teeth. Will it cost billions? Bloody oath. But both of these leaders have decided to buy votes with billions of dollars in lots of other areas. They've tried to divide us along class lines, along gender lines. Well, why didn't one of them work out that regardless of where you're from and who you are, all of us have got teeth? And those of us who have trouble with our teeth, either because of the genetics or the stupid things we've done to our mouths, should have the ability to take care of our teeth. We should have a Medicare system that the same that pays for your broken arm that should pay for your broken teeth. It's a huge missed opportunity from both, and it was the best question of tonight's debate.